I'm not one to make political videos, but I do want to talk about the election that just happened in America between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. But I don't want to talk about it from a political angle. I want to talk about it from a movie angle and a little bit of a personality angle. And I'm not looking to offend one side or the other, but I'm hoping that we can talk about it like it's a movie and maybe see it out of our bodies, but almost like we're watching it in a theater on a movie screen. So indulge me if you don't mind. And I really think that what's really been going on as it relates to, say, Donald Trump and his first term and stop the steal argument in the second term and this win in the third term all comes down really to the same reoccurring theme that keeps happening in our society, and that is the question of what kind of character do we want as the representative of us, as our leader. And it's no surprise that the character of Donald Trump is the strongman character. My uncle, who will tell you is the biggest Donald Trump supporter of the world, has said to me since Donald Trump was running for the very first term that he feels America needs, in my uncle's exact words, America needs an asshole. And Trump, as he lovingly said about him, is an asshole. He is the biggest asshole in the world, and America needs an asshole, and Trump is America's asshole. What he means is he feels that America needs a strong man. America needs a bully, and Trump was delivering bully. When you compared him, say, to Kamala Harris, when you compared him to, say, Hillary Clinton, he was delivering on bully, and that is what a lot of people liked about him. I see when I go on vacation, people have not only Trump flags, but they've put his face on Rambo with muscles and machine guns. It's because people see Trump as strongman, and that's okay. So for those of you who want to hear what it's like on the other side, this is where the movie analogy is going to come in. I want you to ask yourself, if Donald Trump was in a movie, if Donald Trump was in Back to the Future, would Donald Trump be Marty or would Donald Trump be Biff? And I don't think I have to answer that, and I think we all know the answer to the question of who Donald Trump is in that movie. If Donald Trump was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, would Donald Trump be Pee-wee or would Donald Trump be Francis? Again, I don't think we have to answer. And if you need even further proof, Donald Trump was in The Little Rascals, and Donald Trump's character was the father of the antagonist. It was the spoiled brat kid, and Donald Trump was the proud father. He's the father of the unlikable kid. Trump is a real-life antagonist. And I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody here. If Trump was in The Karate Kid, would he be Danielson, or would he be the other guy that's trying to break Danielson's leg to win? Again, I don't have to answer it, but that's why I say this is a matter of character. All three of these elections have been about what type of character do you want leading you, representing the country. In the loss of 2024, let me just first of all say, look, it stings for all the people who voted for Kamala and who saw that Kamala lost. I totally get it. Nobody likes to lose. But immediately what you have to start to do is you have to ask yourself the hard question. What is it that I didn't see? What is the lesson here to be learned? What is my flaw? What did the candidate not do right, and how can they learn from it? But the strongman character, the strongman personality, unfortunately doesn't admit to flaws and doesn't admit to mistakes and usually doubles down to get their way. So it makes complete sense when Trump didn't win in 2020 that he would not be able to turn introspective to say, what did I do wrong? What can I learn? Instead, he immediately said, well, if I didn't win, it must have been some other factor because it can't be me. So therefore, it was stolen from me. When I look at the 2024 election and they're showing all the returns, there may be people who are so bitter about the Kamala Harris loss that they're asking themselves, was there cheating? Was there something nefarious? Who knows? Maybe Elon Musk, since he's such a tech guy, had rigged something. All the things, though, that people will not and should not go down the path of 2024, because ultimately what makes the democracy work is being able to say, well, maybe I'm just not looking at it properly. And unfortunately, that was not something that Donald Trump was able to do as a human in 2020. Because if he would have conceded and he would have studied his flaws. Instead, he wasn't able to take that in because of his character. He wasn't able to look at it and say, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe there's something to learn. Now, maybe he did in the deep, dark regions of the corner of his closet or his shower alone. But obviously, he never wanted to show that public. And if I, want to show you this quote that Donald Trump had, take a look at it. Back in 1998, Trump had an interview with People magazine, and here is what he said. If I were to run, I'd run as a Republican. They are the dumbest group of voters in the country. They believe anything on Fox News. I could lie and they'd still eat it up. I bet my numbers would be terrific. Now, this was actually an interview from 1998, long before even George W. Bush was president. And it was also back when Clinton was president, and it was also back when Trump was a Democrat in New York City. But the idea is that as a strong man, because he didn't have the ability deep down to back down, he knew in the back of his mind this, which he publicly stated years before, that he could lean into the voices of Fox News and boldly lie with a confident face, and they would believe it. So he, rather than concede in the moment, decided to play that card to see where it got him by saying at his concession speech, instead of conceding, saying, actually, I did win, and double down on this quote to see what would happen. Unfortunately, a lot did happen. It actually worked. A lot of people stormed the Capitol. A lot of people around him went to jail. Again, it's also a matter of character. If you're okay with all of that just to see where it goes, but the lesson is that a strong man is a strong man, and there is no ability to do that. To go back to my movie example, I'd say we're actually in Back to the Future, but we're not in Back to the Future 1. We're in Back to the Future 2, the one where Marty and Doc leave the year 2015 to go back to the year 1985, but what they don't know is that Biff had been handed the sports atlas, and so when they come back to the 1985, it's not the same, it's the altered 1985, and suddenly Biff, the villain, the strong man of the town, he is running the town, and everyone lives in his universe. That's where we are in terms of 2024 and the second election of Donald Trump. A lot of people love a strong man, a big daddy being in charge. I actually think it's inherent in people to follow a strong leader. Now the question becomes, what other agenda does Donald Trump have now that he has massive control that he wanted? Now that he does, in fact, have the pat on the back from the public with the majority. Now that he does have a Congress that's afraid of him. Now that he does have a Supreme Court that will do whatever he says. Now that he holds every chip, I guess there's really two questions to ask. Number one is, if something doesn't go right, since he now holds every card, he holds every ace, will he take a blame? Because there's no scapegoat now. He has unbridled power. Any failure is his own failure, but that's not in his character. So he will look for something to blame that will make it seem like he won and that it's not his fault. And I'm not saying this to be political. I'm, again, only talking about strongman character. The other thing about strongman character is I want you to surround yourself with those people that are feeding the adulation on you, your inner circle of yes men, if you will. They start to bring their agendas to you, and they start to manipulate you without you knowing it. And this is where I get nervous. And this is a little bit of a history lesson. And I'm not comparing Trump to Hitler. That's not where I'm going with this, but I am going to have to give you a tiny history lesson, which is that when Hitler became the Grand Chancellor in 1932, and we all like to think about the fact that he then would go on to, round up and, the Holocaust and the horrors and the crimes. But in 1932, that wasn't where his head was at. In 1932, when he took power, he was just hell-bent on revenge of his political enemies, and he was out to help the people. He actually did publicly start to build freeways. He actually commissioned the work an invention of the Volkswagen, a car that he called the people's car. That's what Volkswagen means. But what was happening is his inner circle had a lot of prejudices that he didn't necessarily disagree with, but they weren't his forefront agenda. His forefront agenda was to try to get Prussia back, which was now called Poland, which of course would start the war when he invaded it in 1939. In those 6-7 years from the time he was chancellor to the time he invaded Poland, he was this supreme leader that through the years of just getting fed adulation and yes men kissing his butt, he started to accept other truths. And one of the truths was this idea that there was a German master race and this blood was better than all other blood, and that the blame wasn't just the political enemies that he got rid of first, but he then started going after those people that weren't pure Germans. And he didn't have a solution to kill them. In fact, he just wanted to get rid of them to give Germany the pure blood back. And people acquiesced around him because at first they liked the strongman concept, but slowly over time, as they feared him, it became too late. But back to Trump. I'm not saying that he's going to go there. If there's one thing that Trump has that Hitler doesn't have, it's 40 extra years. So I don't think Trump is going to be able to live as long. I'm just looking at this from a character point of view again. And if you want to leave a political hate message in the comments, don't, because I'm not interested in the politics of it. I'm interested in the character of it. I do think it's going to be interesting. I'm hopeful. I'm a little concerned for some friends of mine, and that is my speech.